Ever feel like you're starring in a movie where the plot never changes? You're in a new city, a new job, or a new relationship, yet the vibe is familiar. It's that sinking "here we go again" feeling in the pit of your stomach. We like to call it bad luck or just the way I am, but it's rarely that simple. Your brain is actually running on an ancient script it wrote when you were 10. These are the 7 emotional patterns you're repeating without even realizing it. And honestly, seeing them is the most uncomfortable but vital thing you'll do today. Pattern 1 is the preemptive strike. Pushing people away before they can leave you. You sabotage a good thing because the anxiety of waiting for the drop is too much. Then there's the emotional debt collector mode, where you're always keeping score. You do favors no one asked for, then feel resentful when they aren't returned. It's a lonely way to live, isn't it? Always being the giver but never feeling seen. If you've ever felt exhausted by your own reactions, stick with me for a second. Because the third pattern is the crisis magnet, creating chaos just to feel alive. Peace feels boring, even dangerous, so you find a problem to fix or a fire to start. You're not dramatic. You're just used to a nervous system that's constantly on fire. Most people scroll past this because looking inward is terrifyingly loud. But you're still here, which means you're finally ready to stop the cycle. Let's look at the patterns that govern your 3 a.m. thoughts and your 9 a.m. fights. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about finally getting the keys to your own mind. Let's talk about the chameleon, the pattern where your personality is a liquid. You walk into a room and instantly scan for who you need to be safe. You mirror their tone, their humor, and their opinions until you disappear. By the time you get home, you're drained because you've been performing all day. Then we have the apology reflex, saying sorry for literally just existing. You apologize for the weather, for someone bumping into you, for having a need. It's a defense mechanism disguised as politeness, meant to keep the peace at any cost. But when you're always keeping the peace, you're usually declaring war on yourself. Does it feel like you're living a life that was designed by someone else's expectations? That leads us into the achievement trap, where your worth is a moving goalpost. You hit the milestone, feel a 5-minute high, and then immediately ask, what's next? You can't enjoy the view because you're already obsessed with the next mountain. This pattern convinces you that you are what you do, not who you are. It's a recipe for burnout that we've been taught to call ambition. And then there's the silent treatment pattern, closing off when things get real. Instead of saying, I'm hurt, you go cold and wait for them to guess why. It's an emotional wall that keeps the pain out, but it keeps the love out, too. You're waiting for someone to jump the wall, but they don't even know it's there. Recognizing these isn't an indictment of your character. It's a map of your survival. You've been using these tools because at some point they actually kept you safe. The weirdest part about these patterns is that they feel incredibly comfortable. Even if a pattern is toxic or painful, it's a known pain, and the brain loves certainty. We choose the familiar hell over the unfamiliar heaven every single time. You might be thinking, okay, I see myself here, but how do I actually stop? The shift begins when the pain of staying the same exceeds the fear of changing. Think about the last time you overreacted to something seemingly small or trivial. That wasn't a reaction to the present. It was an echo of a past you haven't healed. When you realize that, the pattern loses its power over your immediate future. You start to notice the gap between the trigger and your response. In that tiny split-second gap, you actually have the power to choose a different path. It's like finding a hidden door in a room you've been trapped in for 10 years. Most of us spend our lives trying to change our partners, our bosses, or our friends. But the only thing you can actually renovate is your own internal architecture. Imagine not having to apologize for your boundaries or hide your true feelings. Imagine a day where you don't feel like a fraud or an emotional debt collector. It sounds like a dream, but it's actually just what happens when you stop looping. You aren't broken or defective for having these ingrained emotional habits. You're just a human who learned how to survive a world that didn't come with a manual. But the survival strategies of your past are becoming the cages of your present. It's time to stop being a passenger in your own head and take the wheel back. So here's the challenge. Pick just one pattern we talked about today. Don't try to fix all 7. That's just the achievement trap talking again. Just notice the next time you feel that familiar, itchy urge to perform or retreat. When it happens, don't judge it. Just name it for what it is. Say to yourself, "Oh, there's my chameleon again," and take a single breath. That one breath is the sound of a circuit breaker being flipped in your brain. You're teaching your nervous system that it's finally safe to try something new. This won't happen overnight, and you'll definitely slip back into old habits. That's okay. Progress isn't a straight line. It's a spiral that moves upward. Each time you choose truth over the pattern, you're rewriting your life script. You'll start to attract people who love the real you, not the mask you wear. You'll find that peace doesn't feel boring anymore. It feels like coming home. The heavy weight you've been carrying, you're allowed to put it down now. You've spent long enough being a secondary character in your own story. If this resonated with you, it's probably because your soul is tired of the loop. Share this with that one friend who's always fine, but you know they're not. We're all just trying to figure out how to be real in a world that wants us perfect. You are more than your patterns, more than your past, and more than your mistakes. Tomorrow is a brand new scene, and for once you get to write the dialogue. Let's make it a good one, because the world finally needs the real you to show up.